Yes. Boom. Reminisce. Man, we are here live every Tuesday. We got to go back and collect what we have forgotten. And on that note, we almost forgot. Well, I almost forgot that May marks 5 years of the Reminisce Show, man. So we're going to build on that, man, which is just incredible. Yo, time flies when you're having fun. And this is just giving me some more motivation to, keep going and let us know that, we're doing something that's meaningful. Because again, this doesn't feel like work. This is, I need this for my own mental health.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a selfish thing. I don't know, but
I'm with
we
you.
gotta keep this going. And yeah. So some of these new ideas is coming up in the endeavors. It's been an incredible journey, man. But yeah, before we get into that, yeah, let's check in, man. My brother, how you feeling?
I'm happy I'm here, yo. I'm happy I'm here. I really like how you said that, man, because I definitely use this show for grounding and clarity and just, yes, yeah, like carrying on tradition is so powerful. It's a hip hop thing that I honor, and I love just checking in with my brothers in my community, man. So, and my sisters whenever we have any of our guests.
Yeah.
But just, if it's just me and you, man, I love the
Oh
build.
yeah, man.
So I've
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's been like some, not the highest, no, some high highs and not the lowest lows, but some weird things this week. And but there is a rap show to talk about, and I got to check up with one of the big brothers, Talib Kweli. So that was cool. And yeah, there's more to talk about,
Okay.
definitely. But how you doing?
Yeah. Build on that. Yeah, I'm feeling good, man. When the weather is behaving itself, I get a little bit more inspired. I know that summer's right around the corner. I'm excited for more concerts. Pipeline OVO Fest has returned.
Mm.
Whatever magic we have, man, calling on the ancestors. I gotta document you front row at the OVO Fest. You know what I mean?
I
Because
got to beat it.
Drake himself said himself that it's not a show unless my men is in the pit, and that's the boy. So
That's it.
hopefully, we continue the same energy. And I know many people in Toronto. Other than that, I'm definitely feeling good, motivated. I kind of discovered by accident that this month, May, I can't remember the exact day. I think it might have been like mid-May. We might have a month, so give us grace period. And time flies when you're having fun. But just kind of cool to reflect on that, right?
Yeah.
Promotional sponsorship and just to get other people on board. And in order to do that, we got to be able to tell the story correctly. So I was kind of, doing my thing. And I started realizing, I was like, yeah, we started this during the pandemic, during the height of COVID, where it was a lot of uncertainty. Like no one knew what was going to be happening. We were convinced that we may not go to another concert again. And that was a very real thought. And we're like, just kind of like took it for granted. And that was literally the birth of the Reminisce Show. And then we started about, and also too, like during COVID, a lot of possibility that this, as we know concerts, it's not going to happen, or virtual. They had like the versus battles, and then a lot of people are doing lives and just finding ways to stay connected. And that is literally how Reminisce came about and thing. And now we're back in the physical and continuing the same energy. But what's also most important is that me and you have been doing interviews and going to shows like before the Reminisce Show. You know what I mean? So Reminisce Show was that frequency. And then now, even in that self, as I'm thinking about it, it's like Sankofa, right? Because it's like we started off doing interviews and connecting in the in the physical, and then things went digital, and now we're back into the physical again, and now we're doing both.
That is perfectly said.
On this now, right? Yeah. But we're even more intentional this time,
Absolutely.
right?
You said it all so perfectly, and we just carry on the torch of telling the truth, being real life documentarians, capturing it digitally or physically, and it's just so great. I love an event and just your connections, my connections, your knowledge, my knowledge. We just link and we just making great things happen, and people see it and they just respond, and it's like as you said, I'm so happy OVO Fest is coming back. The classic picture, me, you, and Drake together is such a great moment, and yeah, man, I'm so happy for this 5 years with you. Man, it just barely even feels like that, and it just feels like a healthy check-in that I need to do in my life, yo. I love it, and I'm happy to see where it can go this year, because this year feels like a really good year on a variety of levels. Like we,
man,
the
man,
media,
oh man. I mean, well, let's
hip
like
hop
we
culture.
can definitely build on predictions. Well, what are some of your predictions for OVO Fest? I know right off the top, my number one prediction, and I guaranteed is going to tell. That is 100% on one of
Wow.
the days. The synergy is too proper, because OVO Fest usually takes Vibes Cartel just makes sense. He
Massive.
has to. Like he owes Toronto that.
Yeah,
Yes,
wow.
man. Make it
That's
happen for the
crazy.
city, man.
That's a beautiful thought. That's big. Yeah, and that would take it in a brand new direction that it's never been, really. So that's a big real thought. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's got to be strategic for sure, because we all know it's been a rough
Yeah.
year, and some people who might have been on a year and a half or 2 years ago might not have been on, or might not get the invite right now. Yeah, it's definitely a couple people who have been on it are not invited back.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta say. Well, yeah, like Rick Ross, Future, ASAP Rocky, those guys all have performed on it in the past. They ain't gonna be on this one.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna be on this one.
What about
Man,
I have one more. Yeah, no, I have one more, like hasn't already performed. I'm not sure. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. And hopefully there isn't any kind of like conflict, or any thing going on. But I would also say another great prediction would be Chris Brown.
okay.
What do you think about that?
That's interesting. I don't think Chris Brown has actually performed at an OVO. I've never seen Chris Brown, but Chris Brown is also coming here in like June. He's doing his own Breezy Bowl tour, so he'll be here yeah, he's coming not too long from now. So he might be on tour actually when Drake is doing it. So, but no, I mean, that's a still it's still possible, if Chris Brown has a day off of his tour, he can just helicopter in, and it's not impossible, and it would make sense. That's that's a possible candidate. I wasn't even really thinking about that much, because I was happy when he just announced it, I guess like yesterday, with the Central C concert.
Yeah.
But I mean, not well.
Could it be, man? Who else?
Who
Who else can like just really be like, oh, who? Like I'm trying to think, like what? Who could do that?
Yeah, I mean, who else could he make peace with, man? That it would be a shock and a surprise for him to reconnect with. That's one thing, because
Oh, that would be interesting.
performers are one thing, but if he actually uses it to be like, hey, you know, I mean, a lot of people expect him to say something about Kendrick or whatever, and I hope he doesn't. I hope he really is like, that's
I don't think he will. Like,
I'm really glad he's not bringing up Kendrick at all in these new concerts. It's just like, I've moved on. But yeah, if he's like, yo, instead of beef, I want to like use this moment to squash something. But yeah, like I don't know, it wouldn't be like
who out that. I mean, it would be kind of crazy if like Kendrick was the guest, but like that's not happening.
yeah, that's not
But
happening.
that would be
Too soon. I thought it crossed my brain, but I'm like, that's not happening.
no,
What I'll first throw out is possibly
no.
Pharrell. Just
Okay,
throwing it out.
okay,
Possibly Pharrell. Like
right.
if he brought out Pharrell, like and be like, yo, I'm making peace with Pharrell, and I'm gonna have Pharrell like perform or do a couple joints or whatever. Like Pharrell would be one of those performers who has not been a guest at the OVO Fest, and it would be, that would be a big name. That would be I would think that's an interesting thing. It's just a random thought, but like,
Yeah. Sidebar. Did you know that it's Pharrell's vocals who did the SWV tag, the SSWW to the V, that Sisters with Voices R&B group from the 90s. That's Pharrell. Did you know that?
No. Oh shit.
I just recently
Yo, that's crazy, man.
was like, yo, this guy.
I know he had some production credits
Yeah,
on
go ahead.
but I know he was working with Teddy Riley back with the Rum Shaker days, and but like, yo, that's his voice. That's wild.
That's his voice, man. Like he did like the before like our singers or artists had their like producer tag or whatever, like that's cemented in 90s R&B. I love SWV. Like I yeah, it's one of my favorite female groups of all time. Vocals incredible. But yeah, that's just Pharrell right there, man. So big up to Pharrell on that. That's just some wild history. But something would be really interesting with OVO Fest has not done before. Well, because he's kind of we with Drake, which was I think the all Canadian special. But it would be interesting to give more Canadian artists, like that maybe to do kind of like a version of that, because that was a beautiful image to kind of being like, yo, this is Canada, you know what I'm saying? This is us. Or to also include maybe some of the new generations, maybe some I mean, these aren't artists per se, man, but I don't know, maybe some notable streamers, like there's the big talks of like Streamer University, and I'm just trying to think of like ways that he can capitalize on youth culture and just kind of being a visionary, but something that will just get people to be like, oh my gosh, this is incredible.
Yeah, no, he really could be that, and definitely he has the power to pull that together. So it just depends on what kind of statement he would want to make and who he would want to give some spotlight shine to. But I mean, also just with so many people like him coming post battle, it would be a good look for him to be like, hey man, like these are my Canadian compadres, and I'm proud of where I'm from, and I do have some friends and fam here, and I'm gonna give them some shine and love right now. Like like not like the pop out show, but it's like, hey man, you like it would be like what the pop out show did for LA, like OVO could do for here. And you did it before,
right.
but like, yeah, for sure. You could do a mix of old and new, or you could just do like newer generation cats. And yeah, it would make perfect sense, and it would be like it would look, and it would make logical. Like this is a great time to bring back the OVO Fest. So yeah, like use things and reconnect things and resurrect things, and like, yeah, man, it's a great time. Yeah, man, like he could. There's just options, There's really options that he has. So, yeah, I'll be happy. We'll be there. We'll be there,
No,
man.
that's dope.
I'm gonna be front row as fuck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I just wonder if it's
So
gonna be the
moving on
ACC
to like some of the shows.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh, that's actually a good question. That's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
If it's going to be still on stage, or is it going to be at Scotiabank Arena? I think, you know what? If Vibes Cartel is coming, if that's a thing, like say, you know, if it does like a 2-day thing, Vibes Cartel or whatever, because he could do like Vibes Cartel on both days. Like he can come twice and people will still, you know, come out for that. Yo, I feel he can do the Rogers Center, man. You know, I think it's
Yes, he
possible.
could.
I think it's possible. Yeah.
He could. Yo, man. Yeah, no, there's a lot of options. Well, not a lot of options, but there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of big potential. And yeah, it's a good
100.
golden bullet to shoot off. Like, yes, it's perfect time to bring it back. Yeah.
For the city, man.
So speaking of
For the city.
for the city, for man, for the city, for the culture, for the people, man, Drizzy, we want to see that. Yo, that's a definitely do right and kill everything moment.
Yes.
Yeah, 2025 OVO Fest. So see you there.
You've yeah, like you were, you know, privileged to you know, check out a few concerts. I know that there was the Far Side last Thursday, no? So why don't you build on that? Was the experience, man, the Coca-Cola Coliseum?
It was cool. It was cool, yo. It was peace. I mean, one, I didn't know that venues are cashless. No, I rolled up there with money to buy a ticket, and they were like, "Yo, you can't even buy a ticket." I was like, "Oh shit, this is crazy." So, yeah, it was just like it was just all card business, you know, whatever. Like, obviously, I have a card, but like, it was just like, just seeing what time it is in concert culture was interesting. I didn't see much of Far Side, unfortunately, because it was just I got there at like 8:05, and the concert time says concerts 8 o'clock. So I get there at 8:05, and Far Side is already coming off the stage. And like I literally saw the last verse of the last song, and I was like, hey, this is like usually it's like the door opening time that is the start time, not like the first act, not the first act before the time you post. What are you doing? Like you say doors at 9 or something like that. And like, but yeah. So anyways, I only saw a bit of Far Side, but I did see De La Soul, and they brought out Talib Kweli again. And so that was cool. And then I saw Cypress Hill, which Cypress was really dope. Like I'm more of a fan of the other two groups than Cypress, even though I like Cypress and I've seen them many times. I respect them highly and whatever. Yes, Cypress and Redman helped me smoke weed, and but Cypress did a lot of songs off their first album, which was my favorite album of theirs, and they kind of remixed some of their most pop and poppy songs, like Rap Superstar and a couple of the really big songs. They're like, let's just like make this a little more underground and grimy, which I really appreciated. So I enjoyed Cypress Hill. I enjoyed Cypress Hill more than I like the last couple times I saw them.
That's
And
what's up.
they got a really tight show. Oh, I gotta mention this because this is another different, powerful because of the Prophets of Rage connection. Cypress Hill's DJ this time was DJ Lord, which is Public Enemy's DJ.
Okay, interesting.
And yeah, DJ Lord is the replacement for, well, you know, the not replacement, but he's carrying on the mantle for Terminator X.
Right.
And DJ Lord is one of the craziest scratchers on the planet.
He did his thing.
Without question. Without question. So they did this thing that was unbelievable. It was the DJ doing scratching, and Cypress Hill had a live drummer. It was Bobo, DJ Bobo. It's like their percussionist. So they had a live percussionist doing drums while DJ Lord is scratching, and they were just chibba, 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 like drums and turntable. Crazy crescendo explosion, so fast, wild, insane moment. It was jaw dropping, and it was a really creative show. And at the very end, they did this like tribute to Jump Around, and they're like, everybody jump. So they're like, this is from our era. It was kind of weird because it was like, this isn't a Cypress Hill song, but like they did Jump Around, and like they brought out everybody. It was like interesting where it's like hip hop has become this like folk music now, where it's like, you know, Cypress, they not only did they bring out everybody to do it, like Talib comes out and Maceo and Paz Deneuve and a bunch of the dudes came out, the opening acts. So they were all on stage at the final song, and then they're all jumping to Jump Around, and Cypress is doing Jump Around. And it was a really dope version or whatever, but it's like, this is a
That's
House of
not even their
Pain.
song.
House of Pain's not even here. It's totally, but it all like, to any hip hop head from the time, it obviously makes sense why Cypress Hill would do a cover of Jump Around. That's your exact era where you came out. So like, it was this interesting, and that's the last thing they did. And then they all did this big bow together. And when they came off the side stage, that's when they got to buck up with Talib Kweli, and he was chill, yo. He was chill. I got to talk to him a little more. Got another good picture with him. And shout out to G Stokes. I saw Greg, and Greg was just awesome. And
Oh, salute, man.
me and Greg and Talib had a moment. That was dope. And then at the end, I saw Be Real. I didn't get to talk to him. I got to like wave to him, and he like waved back. And yeah, it was a good show. It was a good show. Family was there. Saw
Okay.
Adam Bomb. Adam Bomb was cool. A couple other random homies I saw.
That's what's up. Yeah, no, I heard it was a great show. I got to big up Amal. You know, brother Amal, man, hit me up like, you know, he mentioned the show to me, and I was like, I didn't have any tickets and whatever. I'll just do my thing. And then he messaged me back like towards at the end of the show. He's like, yo, like I had extra tickets or whatever. I'm like, why didn't you say something, man? Like if that was a flex, man, I would have pulled up for sure. But you know, I wasn't like really stressed about that. So I told him like, yo, moving forward, anything that comes up, because we're out here, man. We want to be documenting everything. It's like, I don't care. Like as long as there's access, let's make it happen. So he was like, yo, I'll send you footage. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, but like I'd rather be there. You know what I'm saying? Get my own footage and the commentary. I need Bender in the pit, broadcasting live from the pit. He's like, people dancing like,
it was so, yeah. You're
that's
so
what
funny
I need,
because,
man. You know what I'm saying? Like
without even yo, man, you're so right. Because without even trying, like I tried to buy an earlier ticket, and then my ticket got fucked up because of some digital shit. So I had to buy a next ticket. That's what I was talking about, rolling up with cash. So I bought a ticket when I got there. And so it was just like it was like ticket for the higher section, but then I just found my way to the 100s on the floor. So
right.
I'm like right on the floor section, but I'm near the back kind of. So I was like, oh, this is chill. I'm not going to trip. I'd seen them all before, so I wasn't like wiling out to get to the front. But then in the middle of Cypress Hill, just things kind of opened up, and I was like, man, fuck this. So I ended up walking basically to the front, and like for the most of Cypress Hill, I was still Mr. Front Row. I was just like on the left side, but I was right at the front, and I got some. I mean, my phone was almost dead, but I got some good footage, like front row again on the left side, and I got a picture with Talib Kweli, and I saw Paz Deneuve, but Paz Deneuve just like he's just very shy, so he saw
Okay.
me and then he just moved, and I was just like, man, this guy is it's beautiful. I love you, Paz, but he didn't say hi to anybody really, not anybody that was outside of the gates. He's so like introverted. But it was a good show. It was a good show. It was
Interesting. Right?
good family show. And
Word.
yeah, shout out Natalia.
So
Natalia was there.
just kind of okay, my shout out Natalia, man. So just kind of going off of, like I said, like this is, month of May represents 5 years of us doing this Reminisce Show, and how it just kind of started, during the height of COVID and us preserving history and culture. And I think it would be a great time to, talk about a few things. Since OVO Fest is coming back this year, and shout out Drake, who I've always said, man, like that's an artist that we don't have to worry about per se. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is like he's always had the ability to somehow like alchemize challenges and things. And what a lot of people don't know, came into the game with beefs and challenges. So this is not something like new to him. You know what I'm saying? Like there has been what has been perceived to be a setback, and somehow it doesn't affect him like that. Like sure, he may kind of like take a pause to regroup and come. Like when he comes back, it's like where he left off and just continues. You know what I mean? And a lot of this, of what we're going to be seeing, represents that. But you have interesting relation. If you can just share with the people them like like some of those earlier days of connecting with him and how you've been able to kind of like cultivate this relationship over time, which actually got us backstage at the OVO Fest, the Canadian hip hop edition, where Drake literally FaceTime you off of IG and was like, all right, whoever you're with, let's go, let's make this happen. And I'm like, backstage chilling by the open bar and all this kind of stuff. And anyways, like how did that come about, man, from the beginnings, and how were you able to like nurture those kind of connections over the years with someone who's like a mega superstar right now?
I mean, it's been good because I don't post every single message I get from him. I haven't told every story I've had with him. And like, I love the culture, and I go where it's happening. So I got to I was seeing him when he was literally it started when he opened up for Mos Def, when Yasin Bey, but literally it was still going by the name Mos Def at the time at the Phoenix, and Drake was an opening act, and that was the technically Drake's second concert, because like a month or two earlier he had opened up for Ice Cube at the like Molson Amphitheater, or no, at Budweiser, and I didn't even know about that show. I would have been there, but like I've seen Ice Cube many times, but that slipped under my radar. But I'd seen Drake multiple times, and I saw him at the MMVAs once. This is a wild, weird story. Once, like one time, he was going in the MMVAs, and I was talking to him, and like we were both going in, and then they tried to separate us, and I was like, "Yo, I know this guy," and he was like, "Yes, he knows me," and like the people were like, they're like just trying to punk me off, but Drake was like, "No, I know Mindbender, man. Stop fucking with him." So we've had some interesting just connections over the years. Yeah, so I was really happy when he was just, I think it was maybe the fact that I was at the that year I was at we were jamming hard at Scratch Bastards barbecue, and I was front row there. I was wilding out. My energy was high. So I think that was one of the reasons why Drake, when he was doing the OVO Fest that time, he was like, "Yo, Mindbender, like I need you at the Canadian event, like front row as usual," because that was a really good moment.
No, that's super peace. Do you remember that time when we got to OVO Fest and we were covering it for Hip Hop Canada, an article, and I remember that got posted on Twitter and yeah, like or X now, but back then, and then
Oh
Drake,
no,
like
it's still called
reposted
Twitter,
that.
man.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was year. It might have been year one. It was either year one or year two.
I think it might have
but
been year
actually,
two. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, it might have been year two. Either way, yo, I'm really proud of that article. I mean, it's been honestly it's been over a decade since I wrote that. But
Yeah.
I don't even lie, and I don't say these things without some form of evidence. And I make a bold claim, but I do believe that article that I wrote for the OVO Fest that Drake retweeted and loved, Rolling Stone the Source and Complex, like a couple other magazines, straight bit my format, and just the next few years, cats were like using my exact fucking style and the energy. They couldn't write it exactly with the love that I had, but the perspective that I put to it,
Yeah.
and the timeline of how detailed I broke shit down. Those magazines, they were running with my shit for a couple years after that. I was like, real recognize real, motherfuckers, and you know that shit was real.
Listen, man, we're gonna put it in the universe, man. That, you know what I mean? We're gonna bless you that other opportunity, man, to give that detail. And two versions, man, because you know, I'm someone who likes to read as well, and there's some people who enjoy reading, you know, the written accounts, you know, and the way how you write it's an experience, like you feel like you're there, you know. So we're going to have the written version as well as like the video commentary of us, you know, hanging out and just capturing that, man. So this summer, man, we are ready to show, improve, and to capture like the history and just the vibration of Toronto. And speaking of that, like the foundations, I want to you know, because again, this is like 5 years of Reminisce Show, and I want you to also go a little. Let's take it back to the days of you hosting In Divine Styles, man, at the platform meant for artists and the come up. You know, we're talking like, what would you say that was?
Around my whole thing, 6 months before then, I did Zoe, Dan used to videotape. So that's really time to reminisce on it. But like the video, work actually, you know, it would be like nice to do like a reunion thing, but we do it at actual now because it's just running last year, but it's right now whoever's running it has maybe I don't know, we'll see. So I'm it's either, you know, if we don't do it there, we'll just have to pick another location, but I you know, kind of, it would be nice to do it there probably, but you know, we'll see. But and yo,
that's what's up.
Yo, yeah, speaking, there's been
man.
there was just a few other things in the news. Yeah, there was I mean, one little thing I did want to talk about is Kid Cudi testifying in the Diddy trial, because one of the things that came out was pictures of his car, the damage that happened to the car. And I've seen it with my own eyes. So you know, they're talking, you know, the word on the street was like Puffy blew up Kid Cudi's car, and it was like, okay, well, what is the accuracy of that statement? So that was, to be fair, not to downplay the crime at all. It's a fucking crime for sure, but it was an exaggeration. That being said, what did happen is Puff Daddy did cut through the roof. There's a big like triangular hole, and it's like the roof, half of half of the roof is ripped open with a big triangle, like ripped through the
Oh.
roof of the car. And it was like it's like a BMW. It's like a fancy ass BMW, or like it's like a Porsche, or like I think it's a BMW or a Mercedes or something. So it's like a luxury car. But so they rip through the roof. There's like a triangle hole in the roof. And in the seat of the driver's seat, half of it is gone. It's just like got a big burn in it. So it's just got a big black spot. And then and then the driver's door is all fucked up and it's black. So technically, like the more accurate thing I think to say is Puffy cut through the roof and threw a Molotov cocktail inside the car, and the car, like, it didn't blow up the car, but like it lit fire to the inside of the car and burned up.
Fire, right?
Yeah. So it's like, that's still a fucked up ass crime, but like, yeah, the car didn't blow up. But yeah, he cut through the fucking roof though. Like, how do you cut through a roof? Like, that's crazy. So
That's mad. Let me ask you this. Like, people have been saying, I'm pretty sure, like, okay, I saw this post where, I guess, Young Thug, if I'm not mistaken, was saying that Kid Cudi is what counts as like a to me, it's like, you know, Kid Cudi, like, he's involved in, you know, criminal activities. And from my interpretation, maybe I'm old school or whatnot, man, but snitch is like, if we are all involved in criminal activities and then someone gets caught, like, you know the rules to that, you know. But if you're just, you know, a regular civilian and you're not involved in anything, that's a whole different, like, those same rules to everybody. It's a certain kind of way of living that accounts to those types of labels if a code is being violated. That's how I interpret it. I don't know if things have changed over the years or whatever, but you all let me know.
No, man, I'm so with you. And the fact is, snitch is when you're doing crimes together with somebody, and then they talk about it. But like, yo, man. And another thing is, like, this is somebody who was attacking Kid Cudi, and Kid Cudi is not a street dude. But beyond that, I'm like, yo, one of the things that I like to factor in is like, this has got some fucking like rapist and abusive parts in this. And like, those people don't get no fucking protection, yo. I don't give no flying fucks at all. Like, I don't like the police, but if like, if I can't find anybody else that could bring justice, and I knew that I knew 100% somebody was kidnapping a girl or was molesting somebody, I call the fucking cops. Fuck a fucking rapist or molester. It's not snitching to put those to punish somebody who's doing those kind of crimes. So like, I don't, fuck that shit. 1,000%, zero tolerance for that shit. So I'm like, yeah, like, Kid Cudi wasn't like, he wasn't being raped, but it was like, yo, this is like, it was over an abusive relationship with Cassie. So like, fuck that shit. We ain't defending Diddy on that shit. We fucking telling his fucking story. Cause goddamn it, nobody knew that he's been doing this shit for like a decade. This shit happened in like 2011. Shit happened like over a decade ago. So it's like, fuck that shit, man. All those people are idiots, man. You know, I don't get that. But like, yo,
no, you're absolutely right, man. Yeah,
stupid.
And you know, like, more is definitely going to come out, and you know, things are just being unraveled, man. But as I mentioned before, man, you know, Farrakhan said it best. You know, when great men fall, men don't learn. You know what I'm saying? Like, learn. This is you know, a case we do for our communities as well. You know, we've gotten so far away. Like, I Vic Mensa and 19 keys. You know, like black, the term like black excellence, you know, like black power to black excellence, where it highlights this like individual like culture as opposed to this like communal unison and the vibration together, and how like this
Yeah.
term black excellence was it's misguiding. It's not supposed to do, but it's not. It's really done in this individualized, composed to this like collective, like the African or South African term Ubuntu, and because we each other
Mhm.
up, so
Absolutely. Like,
anything goes against that, man, we gotta heal. Yeah.
no, you're absolutely right. It's got this kind of, it's got a bit of like, it's kind of like a modern version of the talented 10th. Like, you're better than those like ghetto Negro kind of
100%.
things, but we're not gonna like even bring them up. But you're very special, and it's like not to take away from that, but and it's also some of the black excellence energy is kind of dressed up in like black power in like in white presentability, and it's like black
Listen,
beauty in like a black tuxedo and a white dress and all these like European
all of that.
standards of beauty. That's a
Yeah.
lot of, like, yo, man,
When
like,
it
well, nah, not like, not to take away from that, but like that's not the singular highest peak of our aspiration, not at all. And especially if it's not collective. Like if you're on some like black excellence on some Oprah shit, and it's just like there's only one of you, and
right.
and it's like, yo, man, we don't really need that.
100, man. It just goes back to, it's almost like under this framework, colonial ideologies, so it's just dressed up as a certain way, but it still produces results as like the vision. And like you said, like we're better than so on and so forth. So we got to get out of that mindset. It's played out. Let's look towards Africa to see what black power is supposed to look. A lot of examples and shifts that are happening. So we got to get back to this like collective consciousness, and it's not even about looking at what other people are doing, man. It's like, what can we do for ourselves? Like we're done with like the handouts and trying to fit into other people's boxes, and let's do our thing, man. As you know, that's our birthright. So, but all these interruptions and distractions, including some of these things that are happening in the media. Yes, it's important to look at, but it's also like a distraction from what needs to be taking place. So we always got to remember that, man. Look towards Africa if you need some.
That's the truth. That's the truth. Actually, shout out, quick shout out to Papoose, because Papoose.
Talk on it, man.
I
Talk
mean,
on it.
for multiple reasons. I'll get a second reason in a bit, but the first reason is Papoose was the next rapper after like Ludacris, who went over. I don't remember exactly. Was he in New Guinea? I think you got his last two Papoose took, and it's like people. I year, and it's like, and it was just it was just fucking, they're like, fuck America, like, let's go and like get that like 100% original Sankofa connection. And but yeah, so yeah, Papoose did that, and I was just happy for him because he was just like, I love it here, this is great, these people know my stuff, I love Africa, more of us should do this. And it was just like, oh, you're so right. So
I need to see like 100 artists doing that.
yeah.
These like one-offs every couple years. Like, I know Little John did his thing. There's Ludacris, South Africa, and for me, like just I'm still impacted by my trip, visiting Africa, visiting four nations, Namibia, and I got to say them every time I mention Africa, man. Namibia, Zimbabwe, Botswana, and South Africa, and how much it has changed changed me. Like I can't. It's like being unplugged from the Matrix, and then looking at the Matrix, and then being the Matrix, and then you're just like, why am I really here? You know. So for me, it's like I know how life changing, how it just activates your DNA. I'm talking like, yo, if you've been blessed with, you know, large amounts of melanin, like there's something that activates when you reconnect with Africa. I don't care where you're from, the Caribbean, you know, America, South America, Central America, wherever, man. If you black, man, you know, something gets activated there. And like I said, I need to see 100 artists. I need to see all these celebrities with their money stacks being like, investing in Africa. Yo, I just bought some land. Hey, look, you see this gold necklace? I got this in Africa to get your gold. Forget getting it from whoever else. That's what I need to see. Okay. I'm not saying don't shine. Don't, you know what I mean? Because that's cultural. That's who we are. But let's like get it from the source. Forget the middleman. Let's just remove, go get it from the source. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I just want to see more of that.
For real,
you know, forget the Ferraris, like that. That's cool. But let's, you know what I mean? I want to see people like, yo, we just bought land, you know, in the Congo, or we just bought land in Kenya. Y'all got to check it out. We're treated with dignity and love. And I need like people like Beyonce, these high profile celebrities to be like, yo, Africa. That's it. But they ain't going to do that. Why? I'll let y'all figure that out. You know what I'm saying?
We gonna
but
keep
hey,
asking. We gonna keep asking until they stop ducking the question, because it's like that's the ultimate goal. That's the ultimate goal. And some of them know it. Ludacris knows it. Ludacris got citizenship and got land there. As far as I know, some of them know. Like I heard there was some issues with Akon's city that he was trying to do, but it's better to fail big in kind of a dream than, you know. I'm not gonna take away from Master P, and like Master P is awesome for buying up the Calio projects. Stuff like that is cool. That's real great. But at the same time, yo, like ultimately, we really should be building bridges back to Africa, and, you know, like back to the motherland, and ownership issues. Like that's really the end game. That's the real end game. So, and it's like, yo, man, those people. It's like, yo, some of you people got like how many mansions you got around the world? So it's like, how come you don't have a little bit of property in Africa? Like, do you have nothing in Africa? And you got like 6, 7 mansions, and like, what's going on with that? Across America, and some of the maybe
there's
some
just reasons.
Caribbean. I don't know, man. I'm with you, man.
That's it, man.
And after what you said, from what you said at that America, it's like international. Oh, fighting color.
Oh, shoot, mic check 1 2.
Yeah,
Oh, looks like we got some English.
But
yeah. Yeah, it looks like we got a bit of glitchy, man. But you know what I'm saying? It's all yeah. It's all good. But I guess we can wrap it up for now.
Been as far as I'm here today.
I totally missed that. I'm not sure if we're all glitched. All good. You know what I'm saying? I guess we'll wrap it up for now, man. Peace to everyone who is, tapping in, all that good stuff. And yo, man, Reminisce Show, man. We do this in PM live Eastern time, man. So make sure y'all tap in. We're gonna keep it going and continue documenting the city, man. So big up to everyone who show love and support. Enough love to y'all, man. We're gonna sign off like that, man. Go by Logik, and I'm here with my brother Mindbender Supreme. And yeah, man, do the knowledge, man. We out here.